Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillah walhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. It's a great pleasure and privilege for me here to address these young scholars and budding talents sitting here. I'm very happy to sit with my two former speakers, one who has inaugurated and one who has given the basic thought about the relevance of this great Muhaddith, Imam Bukhari, rahmatullahi alayhi, in the light of post-truth era. That's very important. I had also thought something to share on that. Now I won't touch that aspect. He has already given you an insight, a food for thought, to think about how Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi and his works are relevant in this post-truth era. It's one of the very challenging topics because post-truth is has been discussed for a few years, for a decade. Like now researches are going on. And of course, Shahnawaz Malik sir, in his inaugural address, he has given you certain, as a teacher, he has come closer to you to interact with the relevance of his teachings and his, chronicles and his, collection of ahadith, and how much it is very relevant in today's perspective, especially for the teaching and learning community. Young friends, I think this is my 4th or 5th visit to Bukhari College. I think after a gap of 5-6 years, I'm here. I think I had come here, I think, when there was Umar Tasnim, another party, something about Arabic language or something like that. I think much, just like Tinder Abbey of, Wordsworth, after a long gap of 5 years. So I think a long gap of 6 years I'm coming here. I'm very happy and delighted to find the new campus with the new atmosphere and new ambience, with all sorts of infrastructural and other technological development. And of course, when Bukhari College is hosting a national program, of course it's not only national, it is international. Since it's an online program, it can be the people who are sitting in Sharjah or Muscat can also, even Tokyo or London can also watch it, or they can record it. It's no more, boundaries are not there. So I'm very happy that Bukhari College authorities and the principal and other, especially my friend Abdullah Bukhari, when he had invited me, I didn't think that this kind of, ambience is there. I couldn't visualize it. Anyway, so with these words, let me come to the topic. Since all of you are very much familiar with Imam Bukhari and his collection of ahadith, the traditions of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The first thing you have to understand that the greatest contribution of Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi radiyallahu anhu is he historicized, he has given a he historicized the background of ahadith, He has tried to find out the authentic sources from which hadith had been reported, any hadith for that matter. So you might have seen that out of 6 lakhs, as Latif sir has given you, how much he was able to, suck the most important, the most relevant, the most authentic, and how he had edited, or he can scrutinized in such a way. If he had seen any kind of break in the narration, any problem with the reporter, so he has tried to understand the reporters, narrators, and if he had found any kind of lack, some sort of weaknesses in the report, some sort of reliability of that particular source. So he was at the core as a document, he textualized, the text was that much authentic. So I think had he not been here, as my former speaker said, then it would have been a different history altogether, because after the Holy Quran Sharif, I think this is the most important authentic source about Islam as a religion. Islam is not simply a religion, it's a way of life. It is a documented religion. We cannot believe in hearsay, legendary things, myth. A number of non-Semitic religions, especially this Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, all these are religions and way of life, but they don't have the documentation of the things. Textual history is not there. So many things. For example, Kerala, it is being believed that Parashuram had thrown an axe to Arabian Sea and Kerala was born. So these kinds of mythological things, so many things are there. I don't want to say and analyze it. So I think there is no such a religion in the world that can be relied on based on text. Of course, our belief is based on our, ilm al-ghaib. We have to say, yu'minuna bil-ghaibi yuqimuna as-salata wa mimma razaqnahum yunfiqun. That is the quality of muttaqin, as the Holy Quran says. But how Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived, his duration, his life history, his words, actions, intentions, and advices, and some of the things which he could have done it, that is also being the part of hadith. You know it. For example, that Muharram, Tasu'a, though he did not do it, but had he lived, he would have done it. That is also part of hadith or sunnah, you can say. So all these things have been given a historical evidence in the textual form. And by eliminating all kinds of unreliable sources, unauthentic sources, he tried to edit in such a way that he has perfectly created a textual documentation. And that is the most important contribution of Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi. That is unparalleled. As your title is, and it's unparalleled, unprecedented, unique, pioneering. Arabic parayile, Urdu parayile, la thani, la thani. Second to none. So that is the most important thing. And I think it better, that when this first hadith, that it is being quoted from, it is being reported through Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, I think. Yeah, if I'm not wrong. Innamal a'malu binniyat. That long, very famous one. And recently I have heard one great scholar was telling this, not on the basis of this muttasil, I think. Some other hadith is there, but I don't want to go into the detail of that. The second important thing Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi alayhi is remembered is because of his memorized, memory power. Memory power, a person who by hearted the Holy Quran at his age of 10. And by his age of 16, he went to Mecca, Makkatul Mukarramah. He went with his, and he stayed there for the last 6 years. He stayed there. Hijaz was one of his epicenters of knowledge. He was going from Medina to Mecca, and so for getting knowledge, authenticity of the sources, background of the thing, the cultural ambient, the historical evidence, even the biographical details of the reporters, he traveled. He traveled to the core and tried to get maximum evidence in order to emphasize or reinforce the hadith. And this is really amazing in the sense that no one could have, that's why he was accepted. As per our, speaker said that Huzur Akram sallallahu alayhi wasallam, around him there was people who were, flies were there, and he was trying to, he wants to, cleanse or even to protect Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam life from any kind of, onslaught of flies or kidas or makoda, like that. So that is the symbolic evidence, The people who had interpreted dreams described that he is proclaimed, and he is supposed to be the guarantor or custodian in the citadel, or maybe to safeguard the citadel of hadith, because the second source of the Islamic text. I think the collection of ahadith, it's very difficult to go in detail in such a program. So many ahadith, I think there are people who would easily deny, by saying this hadith is live, this is very weak, this is something like that. But that is the attitude of the people who have not understood the real spirit of Islam. The third one thing is, as far as I understand, is that he was very much dedicated to the jurisprudence, that Islamic jurisprudence, especially this knowledge of ahadith. A dedicated traveler. He was traveling throughout. He traveled to Mecca, of course, it is a Basra, Kufa, of course, his own place, and he traveled throughout and tried to get as much as possible, sources in order to documentize the things, in order to write it with full of command, accuracy. That was the accuracy was there, clarity is there, and the most important thing is that he was so pious. He was pious. Basically, he was very, very pious person, living a very, very simple life. Of course, he inherited property, but the whole property he was trying to do charity. He was very much doing charity at the same time. And there is some semblance or resemblance with the John Milton of English literature also. He was blind, and he regained his eyesight through one dream. Ibrahim alayhi. It is also, I think, it is also believed. I think, as far as if we can believe in the hadith of Imam Bukhari, I think we can believe how he has regained his blindness. And then a number of incidents, a number of things which were there in his real life, people have narrated. I don't want to repeat. I don't want to go into detail. At his age of 10, I think, when he was sitting with Imam Dakhili, that is the most important thing. How a person at the age of 10 or 11, I think, he was sitting in the dars or in the majlis of academic class of Imam Dakhili. There was an aberration, a minor wrong, when elderly scholar has used that one narration, something like Ibrahim Adi or something Abu Ibrahim. That. So that young disciple corrected Ustad. And Ustad was very much, the teacher was, the mentor was very much perturbed, puzzled or embarrassed. And later, after verifying the document, Ustad had to admit that yes, young Bukhari was correct. Ismail Bukhari, his name is there. Father was Ismail, rahmatullah alayhi. And the great scholar had to correct when this young man, corrected his own teacher, mentor, and Ustad. That was his accuracy or memory power. He was able to when he was a student also, he was able to memorize a number of hadith. So many things were in his memory itself. And that he did not rely on his own memory, and he tried to put it in the writing, and that writing has created a great influence in the later years. So as a young scholar, young researcher, all of us should understand the fact that he was a true researcher. Now there is a time, as Latif sir said, it's a post-truth society. Now it is also this era of, we say that, afdalul ilmi ilmul hal. The greatest knowledge is the knowledge of the contemporary situations. Now we, the faculty members, college teachers, university teachers, are trying to get things published. Some who can, crook. Some of the publications by getting some money, purchasing PhD with money. Cut and paste, plagiarism of the third grade plagiarism. Of course, element of plagiarism may be 5%, 10%. Plagiarism, total plagiarism. One of my great seniors from PSMO College, he has sent me one part of his research, and one part of research was published somewhere else in the foreign university. P.P. Abdul Razak, I think, is not far away from you, Elayur. Abdul Razak sir is a very dedicated researcher in history, no doubt. And he said that one of your men mean SSF. I felt very bad. So thing is that, so plagiarism of third right is going on. And here, Imam Bukhari, had he been here today, I think he would have killed all the researchers like me or others, such fools. Quote, you quote me, I quote you, and both will be quoted by somewhere else. Everyone says even then, according to, but what about you? So we are not able to say what we think. So original, that is authenticity, our epistemology kind of thing. Though the basic epistemology of Islam is based on text. Of course, it is, on the one hand, we are depending on this ilm al-ghaib. We have to agree on that. But at the same time, history of Islam cannot be understood without having the sources, document sources. I think, this Ashab Sita, after Muslim, then there is Nasai, one of his disciples. Tirmidhi is there. Ibn Majah is there. Ahmad is there. Then, this Hakim is there. So many. But he has done as a pioneering muhaddith, chronicler of hadith, in such a way. So, see, from 6 lakhs to how he was a, the reasons, for one hadith is being reported through 5 sources or 6 sources, but he included that. That's why it is 6 lakhs. So I think it's better than big things. You are engaged in these academic pursuits. One uncompromising attitude, I think it's already narrated by that, by our, in the inaugural address, it was there. One Khalifa wanted, that was how he was not compromised with authority. Malayalam say, Kottara Kavigal. The people, even English literature will say, people are going there and praising, the king, noble person, you are the star, you are everything. But people, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, another contemporary and of Imam Bukhari, was not compromising with the power. People are there to go there, going, Kottara Sazuboying and Vartaga. When he was invited, but he refused. So no uncompromising. As Nizamuddin Awliya was also doing the same in India. That people were Alauddin Khilji or other, people from Sultanate, they were asking to come and, they were not compromising. That is a real attitude of a great person. Uncompromising with power. Because they have been already given all kinds of, religious, spiritual acumen they had got. But why they need some sort of worldly kind of things, recognition. So he left the place. So he left. He was living a very, very simple life. I think he has not married. He has forgotten, because no any kind of evidence is about his marriage and so there is no question of marriage, because he was dedicated, totally dedicated. Am I true? He was not married. No, Imam Bukhari, married? No, nothing, no reference is there, I think, about it. Yeah, I think he has not married. Am I correct? Yes or no? He has married? He had married. But there is no any kind of, that. Okay, anyway. But his life was so dedicated. No, okay, if I am wrong, I can correct it. So why says that? This is the thing which. Now, when we look into this today's perspective, when I told you about the researching, that especially our previous speakers have also insisted that the evidence and the references which we are making, that has to be in such a way, because if you can say that there is some hadith in the Bukhari, so we have to do the references. And all those disciples, his teachers, one of his, I think that Ishaq, the Rahim, he had that we need a documented version of authentic ahadith. It was his dream, his vision. And Imam Bukhari had fulfilled it through his dedicated work. And when we look in terms of what's going on, and in today's Islamic world or the total world, what's going on, we have to admit the fact that if Islam has survived, if Islam has survived till now, and he has been surviving for a long time and will survive for a long time till the end of the day, that is till the doomsday, it is because of this authenticity. And that authenticity is unparalleled in the history of the world, in the history of academic world. So as an academician, as a researcher, as a man of creating authentic texts, as a man who lived during that, after this time of Sahaba, and how he has gone to the narrator's history, narrator's way of life, in a very minute way. I think Imam Bukhari was unique, always unique. I think there are so many things, regarding this, if there is some sort of problem in reporting one's, authenticity, he was not able to accept it. He just kept away. He had kept away from that. And missed, simple life. Who sometimes he used to take, some leaves and waters, to survive through his journeys. Sometimes there was no clothes to wear, when people inquired that he was penniless. Because he used to spend for his journey, he used to do his charity and all kinds of things. At the same time, he has forgotten to live in a very comfortable way, because he was very much dedicated to knowledge, this knowledge of hadith. And he tried to use all technical aspects of collecting hadith, reporting and documenting those things, in such a way that we the people, we the inheritors of Islam, we the people, descendants of Islam, we claim that yes, we have got a religion. And the Quran says that, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يَقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. There is no any kind of way of life which we can even think to seek. And today, I think in 1980s, there was a book famous. I think you are very much familiar with that. Michael H. Hart's famous The 100. I think all of you are familiar with that text. How many of you have read it, by the way? How many of you have read it? How many of you have got, I think that text is here. The 100. Yeah, The 100. Written by Michael H. Hart. Is it here in the library? Huh? You have read it? Yeah. It is here. Otherwise, we'll give the soft copy of, you can get it print. He tells, when he compiled 100 lives of the people who had influenced the world. Newton is there, Einstein is there, Mahatma Gandhi is there, Jesus Christ is there, Moses is there, Ptolemy is there. So many great people from different walks of life. But the first person is, who is the first person? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he tells the reason for that. That is because of this. I am connecting this with Imam Bukhari. Because these ahadith, that is the life of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Authentic life of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On the basis of this, not only on this, but others, but again, the major contribution was from Imam Bukhari. He said that if Newton has influenced the world, he has influenced one part, materialistic concept of universe. He influenced the physical aspects of the world. If Alexander has influenced the world, of course it is in the political sphere. And if some other people had influence in the world, of course they had their own limited influence. But Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the only person who had influenced, who had made remarkable impact, not only on the physical life, but on the spiritual world too. So he was a blend of both, a fusion of both worlds. Such an amazing and influence that was made by Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the world accepts this fact. The world accepts. There are so many people, I don't want to go into detail of that. The world has recognized it. So it is our effort to do some sort of soul searching, to ourselves. We have to ask ourselves how much we are true to our academic life, how much true we are to our writing life or our scholarly life, how much we are true to how much we are authentic in quoting something. So I think other speakers have also told about that. Not only in WhatsApp or other social media, in our own personal life. How much pious and how much the money, the thing which he had inherited, how he was able to keep his, that haqq or batil, that's, real life. Some people say that, hey, for academic life, it's okay. Religion is practicing namaz and other, things. It's not necessary to have a haqq or batil in our academic life. Academic life will endure. Academic life ilonum hakkum baadilonum prashnalla ennoru sameepanam. Even businessരൊക്കെ പറയലേ ചാരിറ്റി നന്നായി കൊടുക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ, സക്കാത്ത് നിർബന്ധമല്ല. സക്കാത്ത് കൊടുത്തില്ലെങ്കിൽ ചാരിറ്റി ഉഷാറാട്ടെ, സദക്ക ഉഷാറാട്ടെ. We are living in such a area full of sound and fury, signifying nothing, So truth, untruth, false and half truth. In such a world, how he becomes more relevant? This has to be. Now let's come to the contemporaneity of Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi. How I think I had visited a few Bukhari majalis. A few Bukhari majalis. I think it is there in Markaz. It is there at Markaz. It is there. I have visited attended a few majalis in Tamil Nadu and Varkala and some other places. In Kerala. I thought Bukhari majalis. Why this Bukhari majalis is being celebrated, not only celebrated, why it is being conducted. Not only simply as a ritual, more than that. Bukhari Majlis is relevant. Why? Because Bukhari, we are doing it at Bukhari College. Why we are doing it, Bukhari Majlis? Hadith and Bukhari Majlis, we are keeping a kind of devotion to that. Our barakat. And the barakat, വിശ്വാസമില്ലാത്ത ആൾക്കാരന് അവർക്ക് അതിൻ്റെ ഗുണങ്ങൾ കാണുന്നുണ്ട്, അതിൻ്റെ ഗുണങ്ങളും അതിൻ്റെ ശാപങ്ങളും കാണുന്നുണ്ട്. Two eminent persons who have been very well read and very dedicated to the Salafi cause recently. One is Shahjahan Madambat and the other one is Mujib Kinalu. Both were very Salafi speakers. Of course they were Salafi, basically born and brought up in the Salafi background. Mujib Kinalu has left that ideological base of that organizationally and Salafism പറയാൻ പോലും പറ്റാത്തൊരു കാലത്തിലേക്കാണ് മാറി. എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ്? And there is one more person, but his case is different. Shahjahan Madambat was a JNU scholar. JNU ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അറബി പഠിച്ചു പോയതാണ്. MA അറബിക്കിന് പോയത്, then translation. He was a translator. He was working in embassy. Now he's old, around 50 years. He writes, but he doesn't say that I'm a Salafi. They are not claiming that I'm a Salafi. Why such a collaboration, in this public sphere about being called Salafi? Because to deny hadith is their rooted practice. നമ്മൾ സിഗരറ്റ് വലിക്കുന്ന ആൾക്കാർ ചായ കുടിക്കുന്ന പോലെ ഹദീസ് നിഷേധിക്കുക. It's very easy. ബുഖാരി ലൈഫല്ല, it's very very ഇത്ര നിസ്സാരമായിട്ട് without verifying the things whether it is weak or not. വീക്ക് എന്ന് പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ല. വളരെ ലൈഫ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അതിൻ്റെ വീക്ക് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് കുറച്ച് മോശം, ലൈഫ് പറഞ്ഞാൽ കുറച്ച് നന്നാണ്. അത്രയും ദുർബലാണെന്നാണോ അല്ലേന്ന് പരിശോധിക്കാതെ when we are writing it, new generation should understand that. I think your Imam Bukhari is there, he writes well. There are other teachers also, I think. When we write it, we have to be. That's why Francis Bacon has told that, reading makes full man and writing makes perfect. എഴുതുമ്പോൾ അത് പറയുമ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ authentic ആയിട്ട് എഴുതണം. It is not that how many articles we have published. It is not that, doesn't matter. But out of that, how many articles are of your own? നിൻ്റേതായ എത്ര മാത്രമുണ്ട്? What is your contribution? Other originality of that research. Topic കിട്ടിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഏത് ടോപ്പിക്കും there is no dearth of topic. I think Dr. Latif sir is doing so many research things. Why he is not publishing so many things, but he is doing some research on language. Still there are possibilities of morphological studies of Holy Quran. Phonological studies of Holy Quran is there. Even in hadith also you can do that, historicity of hadith is there. Travelogues, so many travel writers are in our history. And so many writers, whether it is Ibn Khaldun, Ibn Hazm or Farabi, Jabir ibn Hayyan, all those people, what are their contributions? The original contributions can be highlighted by reading the original text. An original text you can read in Arabic language. You are very well versed in Arabic language. Arabic language has such a beautiful space to do it. Comparison of Arabic and English is, so I'm not saying that, my topic is not that. So when we are able to produce original article with research, why we are going this backdoor entry? ഒരു PhD കിട്ടാണ്ടോ, ഒരു PhD കിട്ടാണ്ടോ, 1 ലക്ഷം ഞാൻ തരാം, 2 ലക്ഷം തരാം, അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു PhD എടുത്ത് വന്നിട്ട് ഞാൻ ഡോക്ടറാണ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് എന്ത് കാര്യമുള്ള? നമ്മൾ ഇവിടെ ഹലാല, അതന്നെയല്ലേ സംഭവം. എന്താണ് നമ്മൾ ഹലാൽ? ഇനി PhD ഒന്നും ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ പോലും, see, I know one great person at Calicut. I think you can invite him sometimes. He was one of the pioneering scholars of Darul Huda Academy, Islamic Academy, Professor Abdul Jalil. He's from Kottakkal. He's not a PhD. He could not do his PhD somehow. But he was a first rank holder at Victoria College, where I am teaching now. And he was a rank holder in MA at government at Aligarh Muslim University for PG in 1960s. His name is there. His name is there in the record. Even Aligarh main campus, English department, you will find this. T.A. Abdul Jalil. T.A. means this initial, not travel elements. T.A. T. Abdul Jalil. And he has got 3 daughters, and I met him recently. Around 2 months back, I met him at his residence. And he appreciated. He's not a Sunni, so-called Sunni. He's a general Muslim. He was there with Darul Huda. With Darul Huda, there are so many other general Muslims are there. They were associated with Darul Huda because of that proximity, with the political or cultural background. So he said that your knowledge, there is one knowledge city is this. I have seen that, it's very fantastic. He said, because he was telling that, why I say, because they were able to see the things. Now he's in London, he has gone to meet his, what I'm saying, it is not necessary. I was doing my PhD in Aligarh under a person, Professor Maqbul Hassan Khan. He was not himself a PhD, but he was more than a PhD. He had done his MA from Lucknow University and then did another MA from Birmingham Institute of Shakespeare. Shakespeare matram പഠിക്കുന്ന Birmingham MA കഴിഞ്ഞ ആളാണ്. But the way he speaks, the way he addresses, amazing. PhD എടുത്ത പല ആൾക്കാരും മിണ്ടാണ്ടിരിക്കും. There was one Naslub Ansari in Aligarh. Of course, I don't know whether he's alive now. I think might have gone. Naslub Ansari was BA Oxon, that is Oxford, BA from Oxford University. And he was very well versed in Urdu and in English. Critical Miscellany, and I had some copy. Critical Miscellany in the way of journal Sundam. Naqd or Nazr, Urdu, English, Urdu so very Persian. That is polyglot, multi-language, or bilingual or multilingual persons. You can do so many work if you are working hard on Persian language. Beautiful language. I'm not familiar with that. But those who know Arabic, it is easy to go with Persian. Learn at least 1 or 2 languages, 1 or 2 foreign languages. I can do for Iran or some other. It's not necessary to become a Shia. Not necessary. Some people say, Iran boy kanya Shia. Jerusalem you be there as you are. No need of compromise on all these things, our religious belief or faith or conviction, but you can do that. You travel sometimes, for those who have completed MA, let them try for foreign university, Fulbright scholarship, Ford scholarship, other scholarships for academic studies. And there are so many people, Nuranis are, Bukhari should also come there. Other Ahsanis and, other Dawah college students also should go outside universities and study there. I learned something. I am not a well-read scholar in Islamic texts. But if I learn something, I learn after visiting Aligarh Muslim University for my BA and MA. So travel beyond, Allah Iqbal varne wale sitaraon ke aage jahan aur bhi hai. There is a world beyond what we see, the stars and all this. So travel. പലപ്പോഴും പറയുന്ന ഹദീസ് അഞ്ഞ ഹദീസ് വീക്കാന്ന് എനിക്കറിയില്ലട്ടോ. ഉതുലുബുൽ ഇൽമ വലോ ബിസ്സീൻ, അങ്ങനത്തെ കുറേ ഹദീസുകളെ പറ്റി പറയാറുണ്ട് അല്ലേ. കുല്ലുൽ അഅ്ബിൻ ഹറാം ഇല്ല ഷത്രഞ്ച എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് അതൊന്നും എനിക്ക് അതിനെപ്പറ്റി ഞാൻ പറയുന്നില്ല. ഐ എം നോട്ട് എൻ ഓതന്റിക് സ്കോളർ. Okay, so there is one thing that I would like to conclude. I mean, there is How much time is there? Yeah. A few. Now regarding hadith knowledge, riwayat, when things are being quoted directly from the Rasul's words, actions, recognitions, there is clarity, and there is also dirayat, I think. Yeah. Dirayat, the distinction between riwayat and dirayat, because there can be some sort of breaking chains. So there is need to be very much conscious about such things, technical aspects. And there is also marwiya. So such technical terms you may be familiar with. You can use it while study about hadith. I don't want to go in detail. Let me conclude my, I think next, you're the next speaker. Yeah, inshallah. Okay, he's also one of the leading students and alumnus of this institution. I'm really happy. So I would like to conclude with my words that what I say that from generally quote from Tennyson or Robert Frost. But let me quote, from Holy Quran itself, Isbiru, Wasabiru, Warabitu. These three things are there in Imam Bukhari. Three qualities, He was dedicated with his sabr. Sabiru, Sabiru of which is something, Tafa'ul was in Tafa'ul, yes, Tafa'ul, Isbiru, Sabiru. So he was with coexistence, while with people, he was going together with others, So he was trying to accommodate others' views, not his own words and his own command or, conviction on that. Then Rabitu, Kudragati Malaladana. നമ്മൾ ഇസ്തിഖ്റാജിനൊക്കെ പറയില്ലേ, നമ്മൾ തുറവടിയാക്കാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ചെറുപ്പോൾ ദർസിലൊക്കെ പോയി തുറവടിയാക്കാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഇസ്തിഖ്റ, അതേപോലെ ചില അങ്ങനെ വസനുണ്ട് ചിലത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇത് റാബി തുറ കുതിര കെട്ടിപ്പാർക്കുക, അതിലേക്ക് ഒന്നിലേക്കണ്ട് തീരുമാനിക്കുക, അതിലാണ്ട് ഇഴുകിച്ചേർന്ന് അത് ലക്ഷ്യത്തിലെത്തുന്നവരേനോ. എന്താണ് ടു അറൈസ്, ടു അവേക്ക് ആൻഡ് അറൈസ് ആൻഡ് നോട്ട് സ്റ്റോപ്പ് till the goal is achieved. ലക്ഷ്യം നേടുന്നത് വരെ അതിലേക്കണ്ട് കുതിര കെട്ടിപ്പാർക്കുന്ന ആ സ്വഭാവം. That was Imam Bukhari. That's what 3 words from Holy Quran I would like to summarize. That was his life. We had to learn a lot from his life, true life. Authenticity is there. Stoicism is a word. Stoic, perseverance. അത്രയും ക്ഷമയുടെ ഏറ്റവും അമൂർത്തമായ ഏറ്റവും ഉന്നതമായ ജീവിതം. Then how much he would have contributed, how much he would have suffered. You just imagine, നമുക്കൊന്ന് കമ്പയർ ചെയ്ത് നോക്കാം, നമ്മളൊക്കെ ആ കാലത്താണ് ജീവിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നെങ്കിൽ. And his travel, Samarkand, Bukhara, he was there, and he's a non-Arab. He's coming from Persian or Central Asia background, and he acquired that. He traveled to Basra, Kufa, Baghdad, and wherever he went. And wherever he went, he tried to collect with hadith and authenticity of those things and try to document it. In such a person, let me tell you one more, the last thing. When I was coming from Tamil Nadu after attending a conference or a majlis of Bukhari and Ziyarat, I stopped at Trichy, Jamal Muhammad College. A few Bukharis came. I don't know any Bukhari is here. They were under the Mummy Kuti Hazrat is there. Mummy Kuti Hazrat and Savan under Rahmani Arabic College, Tamil Nadu. Trichy Jamal Muhammad College ആരൊക്കെ പോകണമെങ്കിൽ അവിടെ പോകണം. പോയി 40 ദിവസത്തെ ബുഖാരി മജ്ലിസ് ഉണ്ട്. 40 ദിവസം വളരെ എപ്പിസോഡ് അടക്കം ഇന്ത്യയിൽ ഏറ്റവും നല്ല ബുഖാരി മജ്ലിസ് ഉണ്ട് എന്നറിയപ്പെടുന്നത് അവിടെയാണ്. തഞ്ചാവൂർ ജില്ല, അതിരാമ്പട്ടണം, പട്ടുകോട്ട താലൂക്കിലാണ്. ഒന്ന് പോവുക, തമിഴ്നാട് സിയാറത്തിന് പോകുന്നവരൊന്ന് പോവുക. ആ ബുഖാരി മജ്ലിസ് ഉണ്ടാകുന്ന സമയത്ത് പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഇപ്പം ദുൽഖഅദ് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു റബീഉൽ അവ്വലിന് മുമ്പുണ്ടാവും. അന്വേഷണം കിട്ടും. ഏതായാലും അവിടെ പോയി നിങ്ങൾ പങ്കെടുക്കുക. ഞാനൊരിക്കൽ പങ്കെടുത്തിട്ട് ഞാനും എന്നെ സാധുവായ ജാഹിലായ ഒരു മനുഷ്യൻ പോലും ഒരു ഹദീസ് ഓതാനുള്ള ഭാഗ്യം എനിക്കുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അത്തരം മജ്ലിസിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുക. അതിൽ ഉറുദുവിലല്ല, ലുത്ഫ് ഉഠാനാണ് അതിൽ ആ മജ്ലിസ്. അത്രയും വലിയ ചരിത്രപ്രസിദ്ധമായ ബുഖാരി മജ്ലിസ് നിങ്ങൾ പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് സിയാറത്തിന് പോകുന്നവരൊക്കെ പങ്കെടുക്കുക. അവിടെ മഹാന്മാരായ മഖബറുണ്ട് ഈ അതിരാമ്പട്ടണ സ്ഥലത്ത്. ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്ന പഴയ എന്താ പറയുക കൂട്ടിലങ്ങാടി പാപ്പ മുസ്ലിയർ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അതുപോലെ ഒരു അബ്ദുൽ മുസ്ലിയർ ഇവിടെ പാങ്ങിൽ അബ്ദുൽ, ഇവരൊക്കെ മഹാന്മാരുടെ മഖബറുള്ള സ്ഥലമാണ്. അവിടെ സിയാറത്ത് ചെയ്യുക. അള്ളാഹു തൗഫീഖ് നൽകട്ടെ എന്ന് പ്രാർത്ഥിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് എൻ്റെ വാക്കുകൾ അവസാനിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. അസ്സലാമു അലൈക്കും.